If you're a fan of the spooky and macabre, then chances are you're a fan of one or both of these bone-chillingly funny families. The Addams Family and the Munsters have an eerie amount in common. Both shows premiered a week apart in September of 1964. Both were shot in black and white and mix dark, kooky comedy with celebrations of non-conformity and genuine family love. The Addams Family was the brainchild of cartoonist Charles Addams, who began to draw the characters in The New Yorker in 1938. The Addamses are an eccentric, oddball human family. They delight in the macabre and are unaware, or don't care, that other people find them bizarre or frightening. The idea came to television when ABC producer David Levy walked past a bookstore display of the cartoons and thought it would make a brilliant series. The Munsters television show was conceived in the early 60s as a satirical mix of the classic monster movie and the wholesome family sitcom, both hugely popular at the time. In fact, The Munsters was produced by the creators of Leave It to Beaver. The CBS sitcom was produced by Universal Studios, who owned the rights to many classic horror movie characters, such as Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. Those characters were brought together in one happy family. So the Addamses are presumably all human, while the Munsters are in fact supernatural monsters. Which do you prefer? Being born or created strange and scary like the Munsters, or choosing to be strange and scary like the Addamses? The Addams clan is led by Gomez, played by John Aston, and Morticia, portrayed by Academy Award nominee Carolyn Jones. Morticia is a sex bomb who drives her husband wild by speaking French. She dabbles in art, gardening, and the occult. Gomez is an eccentric and very wealthy Spaniard. He enjoys cigars, swordplay, and model trains. The couple's passions were pretty cutting edge for the early 60s. They were the first TV couple to imply that they had a sex life. The Munster parents are Herman, played by Fred Gwynne, and Lily, portrayed by Yvonne De Carlo. Herman works as a mortician and is a creation of Dr. Frankenstein. He is incredibly strong, but a bit of a naive buffoon and often falls for obvious schemes. Lily, maiden name Dracula, is a loving wife and mother, homemaker, and vampire. Her name comes from the flower traditionally associated with death, as well as Lilith, a female demon in Judeo-Christian mythology. Lily and Herman married in Transylvania in 1865 and are a typical 1960s TV couple. Classic horror tales give us the perception of Dracula and Frankenstein as being wealthy aristocrats living in castles. Portraying the inherently strange Munsters as working class makes them more relatable, while the Addamses' mysterious wealth makes a human family more peculiar. The real star of the Addams Family is Wednesday, played by Lisa Loring. Her name comes from a line in children's poetry proclaiming Wednesday's child is full of woe. She is a smart and sassy 6-year-old who enjoys ballet and beheading her dolls. Her innocent delivery makes her bizarre lines all the more hilarious. Wednesday's older brother and frequent playmate is Pugsley, portrayed by Ken Weatherwax. He enjoys playing with blasting caps and stealing traffic signs, surely to the detriment of society. The only offspring of the Munster clan is 9-year-old Eddie, portrayed by Butch Patrick. Eddie is a regular all-American Beaver Cleaver-esque schoolboy. Oh, and he's a werewolf. He sleeps in a chest of drawers and loves bragging on his dad. So, are two better than one? The Addams children get along great, blowing things up and gleefully torturing each other, while Eddie is a more solitary child. And what's the genetic logic of a reanimated monster and a vampire producing a werewolf child? Also in the Addams household is Uncle Fester, portrayed by Jackie Coogan. He likes to play with dynamite and power light bulbs by placing them in his mouth. Grandma Addams, played by Blossom Rock, who is always cooking up something strange and foul in her cauldron for the family to enjoy. Lurch, the towering butler, played by Ted Cassidy, who booms, "You rang," when summoned. And of course, Thing, the disembodied hand, always willing to lend itself to helping the family pour tea, light cigars, or play chess. The Munster family is rounded out by Grandpa, Lily's vampire father, played by Al Lewis. Grandpa likes to conduct experiments in his laboratory. He is centuries old and has known many historic figures, including Nero, Genghis Khan, and Jack the Ripper. Cousin Marilyn also resides with the family. This classic 60s beauty was initially played by Beverly Owen and later by Pat Priest. She is a normal human teenager, but is considered by the Munsters to be strange and plain. The Addams' abode at 0001 Cemetery Lane is a seriously spooky French Empire-style mansion, complete with a family cemetery. The home is a veritable museum filled with paintings, statues, and armor. And what home is complete without a torture chamber? The Munsters call 1313 Mockingbird Lane in Southern California home. The Victorian mansion has 9 rooms and a dungeon, so typical middle class. The locale has a feeling of being the haunted house in every suburban neighborhood. The Addams household is a menagerie of odd pets. There's Aristotle the octopus, Cleopatra the African strangler plant, a vulture, and Wednesday's beloved pet spider, Homer. 1313 Mockingbird Lane is chock full of interesting pets as well. There's Igor, Grandpa's bat, Charlie the raven, Kitty the black cat with a monster roar, and of course Spot, Eddie's pet dragon who lives under the stairs. Both shows were popular for 2 years, but could not compete once shows in color, particularly Batman, began to dominate the scene. The Addams family and the Munsters, born on the same week in 1964, both met their demise in the spring of 1966. However, both families have had brilliant afterlives in syndication and have gained many new fans over the decades. The Addams family lived on in several reunions and reboots for TV, some animated and some live action. The 90s brought us 2 incredibly successful feature film adaptations. 1991's The Addams Family and 1993's Addams Family Values featured an all-star cast including Angelica Houston, Raul Julia, and Christopher Lloyd, and launched Christina Ricci's career. Another star-studded but not-so-successful direct-to-video release was 1998's Addams Family Reunion, starring Daryl Hannah and Tim Curry. And in 2008, The Addams Family arrived on Broadway with a hit musical comedy. The original cast of the Munsters starred in 3 spin-off movies in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The Munsters Today TV reboot featured a new cast and ran from 1988 to 1991, and were followed by another 2 made-for-TV movies. In 2012, CBS produced a pilot called Mockingbird Lane, starring Jerry O'Connell, Portia de Rossi, and Eddie Izzard. The show brought the Munsters back with stunning visuals, but failed to make it to series. In what new ways will these 2 fantastic families be reinvented in the future? Only time will tell. So what about you? Are you Addams all the way, or a die-hard Munster? Or do you love both of these kooky, spooky families? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to visit my channel and subscribe for more Halloween videos. Thank you for watching.